Alright, in this tutorial I will show you how to clone your Shopify store into another Shopify store. So here you have a first test store where we have some products, some customers, some orders, like a usual store, right? And we have a website where all those products are, and then we have a second store which is basically empty. There's nothing, no products. It's empty. And so we will copy everything from this store to our clean store. And we will do it by using the Matrixify app. So before we start, we need to prepare the destination store so that we have all the right settings to not mess anything up in our empty store, and so that everything gets copied over. So at first we go to settings in the destination store, and we check inside the checkout settings. There is this order processing section, and by default your store will have this automatically fulfill only the gift cards of the order, and select do not automatically fulfill any of the order line items, so that when we copy the data over, Shopify will not automatically fulfill anything because we will have all the needed data there. So we hit save, then we go to locations, and then we make sure that we have all, like, at least the same locations that we have in our source store. It's because in those locations we will have inventory and the orders will get fulfilled from those locations. And so we need to make sure, like now if we go to our source store locations, you see we have two locations, Riga and Tokyo, in the source store. And so in the destination store, we need to have at least Riga and Tokyo by the name, so that the app is able to find the same locations and attach the inventory to them. Right, so that was locations. Next thing is notifications. Here we will have, by default, there's always enabled like staff order notifications. And if you are copying orders over, then you might want to disable this notification, because otherwise you will just get a notification in your email about all of the copied orders, and that will be a lot of emails probably. Right, so also please make sure that you have disabled any automatic fulfillment services or automatic payment services or any kind of API integrations that send data outside, because once you are copying in the data, it can be that it will just start sending out all those things, but unless you really want it, I suggest you to disable all those services if you have them. Okay, once those all settings are prepared, we can go to our source store, to apps, Matrixify, and go to new export. And then in the format, choose Matrixify CSV format, because that will be faster and a lot smaller file. If you don't need to edit any data in the files and you just need to copy data from one store to another, the CSV will be a very good format for that. And so we then select all the kinds of data items that we want to copy over. You can just copy, like for example, if you just need to copy orders, you can just select orders, but we will clone everything. So we will just go one by one and select the information that we want to bring over. So at first we select products, then we, of course, we need basic columns. We don't need collections, because we will copy collections from here, from smart collections and custom collections, so we don't check this box. Then we select inventory variants, and then if you are using a variant cost column, then select this one, but this will make the export slightly slower. Also, if you are using customs information, then select this one. But if you are not using, then you can not select and it will be faster. Also, if you want to copy the inventory levels, which is the inventory quantity for each location, for each item, then select this one. Of course, the images and the meta fields. If you are using meta fields and variant meta fields, then select these column groups. But if you don't use them, and if you are sure you are not using them, then you can skip them. Also, that makes the export quite faster. The same thing about smart collections. You should select basic columns, the rules, linked products for smart collections. Yes, you need them because it will remember the positions, the sorting position of each product inside that smart collection. Although the products are brought in by the rules, but if you click this one, then we will also export the particular sorting position, how those products are sorted. The product count is not needed because it's basically export only column and you don't need to import that. So let's not export it. The same about meta fields. If you need them, then select them. Now the custom collections, also the same thing. You need basic columns, you need linked products to tell which products actually belong to which custom or manual collections. You don't need product count, but you need meta fields. Then the customers, similarly, basic columns. You don't need first and last order because it's the export only column. Addresses, and you definitely don't need the activation URLs, because otherwise if you select it, then we would generate activation URLs for customers which exist in the source shop. You don't need that. So then you select meta fields again. About the discounts, you just select the basic columns. Draft orders, if you need them, you can also select basic columns, customers, line type, line items. Line item products data is export only, so you don't need it. And the meta fields you need. Or about orders, the same. So basically you make sure that you select the basic columns, customers, line type, line items. You don't need line items product data because it's export only. Refunds, transactions, definitely, fulfillments, and meta fields. Also, on a quick note, if you don't need, if you just need to export part of your orders, for example, you have several years of history of orders, but you just need the last year, for example, then you can apply the filter to select only those, for example, which were created at, on or after, and choose for example, since 1st of January, on or after 1st of January, for example. And that will export only this year orders. And you can add several filters in together to fine tune exactly what you need to copy over. And the same thing about any other entities. You can also select which of them you want to copy over, but we will copy everything. About the payouts, you cannot import payouts, so there's no point of exporting them here to copy to another store. Then of course we select pages with basic columns and meta fields, blog posts, basic columns, blogs, comments, and meta fields, redirects, the same thing, basic columns, and activity, the same thing, that you can't import activity, you can just export it, so there's no point exporting it this time. And the shop, about the shop, you can ideally export basically everything, but you will be able to import only the meta fields, just in case you have your meta fields on a shop level, then you will import them. And that's basically it. If you want, you can set up some options to basically you can schedule or automatically repeat the export as a backup. Like if we wanted to make a daily backup of all the Shopify store data, then you would select this one, for example, and choose the interval when to perform this backup, and then we will automatically make such export every day. at the same time, or you can here specify the time. But if you just want to do it once, then let's stick to this one. To basically default options will all be okay. And of course we need to make sure that we are zipping the CSV files, because we will have for each of those sheets, for each of those data items, we have a separate CSV file. And so we will zip them in a nice package. Yeah, so and we just hit export, and then we wait and we can see the progress, how it's going and how long it's taking. Okay, so the export has finished, and we can hit the download export file button, and as you see, the zip file gets downloaded. And if we unzip that file just to see what's there, you can see that there are all those CSV files for each of the data entities. So, and we just grab this zip file and we go to our destination store, which is empty at the moment, and we again open Matrixify app. And a very important thing is if we look in the source store, of course, to export all your data, you might want to choose a paid plan. The monthly price depends on how many items you have in your store. And let's say, for example, we have enterprise plan with unlimited items per file, and also there is no monthly limit. And so you pay only for the moment when you copy the data. When you are done, then you can switch back to the demo plan or uninstall the app. It's not needed to keep it always open unless you want to keep using it. And so to copy data from one store to another, you just need to pay for one store. Let's say we are subscribed on the source store on enterprise plan, and if we go to our destination store, we can see that it's demo. And so basically we can sponsor our destination store from our paid store, and it's done like this. We just copy the Shopify domain of the destination store, and then we go to our source store settings, and here in shop sponsoring there is this Shopify domain field where you just paste the destination store and you hit save, and here you go. You see that you are sponsoring this another store, and you will be able to detach it after a month. So this detach button will be enabled. And now if we go to our destination store and hit refresh, you see that it now has an enterprise plan. And if we go to see plans, then we see that it is sponsored by this other store, and so you are paying 0 for this destination store. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to select our exported file, hit upload. It will estimate, read everything that's inside that zip file, all the CSV files. It will show how many items there are in those files. And we see that it's basically the same that we exported, and we just hit import, and now we wait again. And actually while the export or import is happening, you don't need to have the app open. You can go around or close the browser, you can do other things, and you will receive an email when the job is finished. And so while the import is happening, you can see there are some warnings, like some messages that's happening to those items. And for example, here you can see that we cannot reorder for two smart collections. We couldn't reorder products because the collection sort order is not manual. When the import will finish, you will be able to download the results file where you'll be able to see precisely which collections had those warnings. And the same in this case for orders, that we are warning that we changed the gateway from Stripe to manual Stripe because to avoid the risk of sending real money. But if you wanted actually to send real money to Stripe for those copied orders, then you could open the exported file and change this column, this transaction force gateway, to true, and then we would keep the gateway as a Stripe. But in this case, for your own safety, we are by default changing this to manual gateway to not send actual money. And yes, and we can see that everything is finished. And if we download the results file, let's quickly see, it's this one, and we unzip it, it will again have the same CSV files, And for example, in this case with smart collections, we just find the smart collection CSV, and you can scroll to the right, and here is this import comment column, and then it says those warnings are for those collections here. The other collection positions got changed, but those couldn't be changed because they have the sort order by best-selling, not the manual, and that's why. But of course you can change it in the file or in the admin afterwards. All right, so now if we go to products in our destination store, you can see that all the products are here with all the images, everything. And if we go to our store and refresh it, then you can see that all the same products appear here as well, and the same with customers and orders and everything. Yeah, right. So, and that's how you clone your Shopify store to another Shopify store. And if you have any questions or issues, you can go to our website, and under knowledge we have extensive documentation and tutorials, and in particular about this video, it's actually showing the same thing that's described in this particular tutorial. I will include the link in the description below, and so you can actually go step by step according to these written instructions. If you forgot something, or it just is easier for you to follow the written tutorial, then you can follow this one. And if you have any issues that you can't solve yourself, there's always this contact us page on our website where you can contact us through the Slack or email, so that we can help you anytime. All right, see you around. Bye.